Brandon Scott joined here on the Slant with Texans linebacker Neville Hewitt. Neville, appreciate you for taking the time to join us, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I wanted to ask you now, this is your third season here and ninth season in the league. What's it like kind of being an OG around in the locker room? And tell me, also what's the key to kind of being in the NFL this long as you've been able to do it?
Well, I mean, pretty much my role is special teams, and being in the league as long as I've been is partially because of special teams and being able to fit in different defensive systems and just learning and being able to adapt. I seen like some of the stuff in the locker room. I seen a lot of the stuff that some of these guys go through, and I'm able to talk them through it and just kind of keep them mentally into it.
I'll never forget when you first signed here a couple of years ago. Chairman, CEO Cal McNair here called you a tackling machine. I remember giving him a hard time on the radio about it. Like, he's a linebacker. He better be a tackling machine, linebacker and special teams guy. But you have stayed true to form to that. Even in this past game, knocked the helmet off on a tackle. How would you describe yourself as a player?
I always took pride in the run. I always looked at it, if somebody run the ball to my side, it's probably kind of disrespectful. So since I've been in the league, since I've been in college, I always took it personal in the run game. So when I was, before I came here, I was with the Jets, starting at linebacker, and I see ball, get ball. And, that's kind of how I've been in the league. Just go as hard as you can and outwork anybody. And that's pretty much how you stay around.
Tell me about your background, how that shaped you. You moved around a little bit and had a pretty interesting journey to being undrafted and getting into the NFL.
Yeah, so I started off high school. I had about 7 scholarships. First scholarship was to University of South Carolina, and couldn't accept it. Had offers to Purdue, Georgia State, Western Kentucky. Couldn't accept none of the scholarships. At the time, my mom was incarcerated since I was like 9th grade. So I pretty much did enough to qualify to play sports, and kept me out of trouble. My high school coach drove me down to Georgia Military College, and at the time I had dreads, so I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna cut my hair. But my mom was incarcerated probably like an hour and 30 minutes away, so it was the only junior college in Georgia. And so that same junior college was like a pipeline to go to SEC schools like UGA. We had some placements from South Carolina and stuff, so I decided to go there, joined the little cadet corps, because you had to be in the cadet corps to play football. And so did that, fixed my grades, was on the dean list, and then schools start coming in, and I went from playing free safety. They moved me to strong safety. I started gaining some weight. I got them 3 meals a day now. And then had a couple offers, Colorado State, had one more visit to go to Auburn, but Marshall was my first offer. And I went out there, and it was like Huntington, West Virginia, and it was like, to me, it was like probably one of the worst visits, but it was the perfect setup for me to get to where I want to go. And they gave me an opportunity to play there, and Coach Fuller, he's at Florida State now, defensive coordinator. I remember him telling me while I was at Marshall, he was like, you're going to either be a really good college football player or you're going to the NFL. And I just started locking in and just start watching film. I ended up having surgery going into my senior year on my neck, and then I just started watching film because I wasn't strong enough to physically get off a block, so I was like, I might have to redshirt. And I was like, nah, I ain't got time to redshirt. So I ended up playing, having like 123 tackles, 5 sacks, interception in the conference championship game, won my first championship. And Coach Duffner, he's with Cincinnati now, he was in Miami. He was calling me like twice a week. And it was like, we're going to try to get you here. And I ended up signing with the Dolphins undrafted. And special teams coach told me, you learn how to do them kick steps. We're going to give you a shot. And I went home back to my grandmother's house, and every day I was working on kick sliding. And then I ended up signing on with the Dolphins, played there for 3 years, started a few games, and went to the Jets and got the opportunity to start eventually. And then later on, got a chance, had one of my best seasons, and then ended up going through free agency, didn't work out like I thought it would, and ended up getting a shot to come here. And been playing special teams here the last 3 years, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, it seems like it's worked out for you because you've actually been able to play 3 seasons at least at each stop that you've been at, especially now in year 9. You talked about watching film. That's one thing that I remember being talked about you in previous coaching staffs since you've been here for some turnover. Is how dedicated you are to the film. You mentioned your mom being incarcerated when you were younger, and that is the inspiration for your My Cause, My Cleats. I want to give you an opportunity to tell us about that, and especially like how specific that is to you and your experience, and why obviously you're passionate about that.
Yeah, so throughout my career, something I always wanted to do is give back to a foundation that specializes in kids whose parents are incarcerated. So I think it was like last year, I just started looking around and ended up finding a Freedom Child Foundation that's based here in Houston. And I was like, well, this is perfect cause. This is something I actually wanted to support. So I was like, the last 2 years, I said, this is the foundation that I'm going to represent whenever we get the opportunity, because I know how, especially around this time, the holidays, I remember like how you just don't have the resources, just clothes and food and stuff like that. So I was like, if I can bring awareness to it and get people to, donate or do whatever they can to help out these children, that's the reason. And then my mom, the reason the colors are green and black, my family's Jamaican. So while my mom was incarcerated, she ended up getting deported my 3rd year in the league. So she ended up getting deported. So it was like she went back to Jamaica. So I always put the Jamaican flag there, and that's pretty much why that's why I chose this cause.
How did you overcome that? Like, obviously that's a challenge for you. You said you were in the 9th grade when she was incarcerated, and now obviously you are a success story. What would you say is the key to you being able to overcome such a challenge as a youngster?
I really say a lot of stuff is God. I can't make up some of the stuff that I went through for like how I'm here. Just I would say God, and then just having like just that perseverance of knowing what I want in life, and I knew I wanted to play in the NFL, and so I was like, if I go to college, I can get there. The if part was so big because I never seen anybody do it, and so once I've done it and I graduated. And I got the opportunity, I was like, there's nothing that's going to stop me from going. I always wanted to play 10-plus years because that's what I grew up seeing. I grew up idolizing Sean Taylor and Ray Lewis, and those guys did it at such a high level that was the standard that I've known. And just following the people that I've seen and having great leadership and just staying out of trouble. Staying out of trouble and just knowing right from wrong. It's common sense stuff. And I just kept it going, moving forward.
Now, when you started here, you weren't necessarily familiar with the Jamaican food scene, even though you were already a fan of the overall local food scene. Have you found a spot? You mentioned your Jamaican roots. Have you found anything that you can maybe cling to that's anything close to what you're looking for, having that Jamaican background?
Not really. I still haven't really found that place. I mean, I still try some stuff here and there, but I haven't found that one. Well, you got any recommendations?
Well, see, and this is the thing. I recommended a place to somebody. I did an interview with the coach of the Dynamo before, and I gave him a recommendation, and he said, I'd been there before.
Okay.
And so I don't want to give you the recommendation. You tell me you've been there before, and then it's not any good.
I mean, I take it.
But I know that Cool Runnings is the place that I go to, and there's the Reggae Hut too.
I haven't been to Reggae Hut.
Oh man, that's a more popular spot. On Alameda, Museum District. So it's a scene. Maybe a place to take your lady on top of getting you a nice little Caribbean dish.
Okay,
so
I try that out.
Keep that in mind. Hey, Neville, I appreciate you for taking the time. This is really good, man, and best of luck to you going forward in the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Oh, can't forget, man. You got to sign the wall for us, man. You got to join your teammates.
Okay.
Got to sign the wall. Make sure we're able to do that. You pick a spot. It's some heavy hitters up there now.
I see.
You figure some of your teammates up there, some legends. So you decide. You decide where you want to put that signature.